We begin at this hour by telling you that President Bola Tinubu on Sunday departs Abuja for Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, to attend the 2025 Africa Heads of State Energy Summit. The summit, hosted by Tanzania in collaboration with the African Development Bank and World Bank, focuses on Mission 300, a plan to provide electricity to 300 million Africans by 2030. On the first day, Nigeria and other nations will present energy strategies aimed at achieving universal energy access. President Tinubu will deliver a national statement reaffirming Nigeria's commitment to clean energy and its leadership in Africa's energy sector. The event concludes with leaders endorsing the Dar es Salaam Energy Declaration, mapping Africa's path towards energy inclusion. To politics, where Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed has urged FCT Minister Nyesom Wike to resign from the PDP over alleged anti-party activities and align officially with the APC. Mohammed accused Wike of serving APC interests and attempting to tarnish his reputation. He labeled Wike a transactional politician whose loyalty shifts for personal ambition. In response, Wike's media aide, Lere Olayinka, dismissed the claims, accusing Mohammed of lacking leadership as PDP Governors Forum chairman. Mohammed, through his media advisor, described Wike's attacks as reckless and divisive, alleging a history of betrayal within the PDP. The Bauchi governor called for unity within the party, urging genuine members to work towards defeating the APC in 2027. Now, to discuss this, we're joined by a political analyst and social commentator, Lanre Toluhi. Lanre, thank you so much for joining us on the news.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, Deshan, and good evening, everyone.
Can you speak to us on what likely impact, Governor Bala Mohammed's call for Minister Nyesom Wike's resignation would have on the unity or otherwise the future of the PDP?
Okay, first, they're both, the truth is they're both meant to be either statement, erudite politicians or people that have played politics for a while. But you see, I don't see the negative or the positive effect because one, the way PDP is already fractured with Barrister Nyesom Wike trying to pull some strings, and I understand for someone like His Excellency Governor Bala, who is a second-time governor and the leader of the PDP Governors Forum, trying to do that Wike should do the honorable thing. But at the same thing is, if he's telling Wike to resign, he has some information we don't have, and he probably knows some things that probably Wike should be doing as a party man and Wike is not doing. But I know it's not because Wike is part of APC government, because we've seen it happen before. Late Uncle Bola was in PDP government where it was an AD chieftain, so that shouldn't be the problem. But the problem is, what is the body language of Wike, what is the attitude of Wike, and what is Wike doing? And when you talk of the future of PDP, I'm someone that always believed that PDP is a coalition of very intelligent individual politicians, both young, old and young. But the future of PDP is going to be determined by the real stakeholders in PDP, because it's obvious that the guys in their NWC, they are serious individuals. Without rising, they are supposed to be acting national chairman to their secretary, and how the way they've been playing out, they are a serious set of people. And so I think the like of Bala Mohammed, who are major stakeholders, and other stakeholders, those founding fathers of PDP, need to start talking, because when PDP was formed, the like of Wike, when nowhere to be found, Bala Mohammed was there,
Larry,
EPP then.
Well, Larry, looking at this, Wike has actually been accused of anti-party activities way before now, even looking at his activities, during the last general elections. So are there any implications for Wike if he officially aligns with the APC?
Now I'm telling you that the NWC of PDP, they are serious set of individuals. They are very unserious, they are unprofessional, they lack what it takes, they are people that lack integrity, without minusing word. Because if they do or they lack discipline, they don't have self-respect. Those are the things, there are people that shouldn't even be middle-class captains. Because if you look at it, Wike openly came and said he was going to work against their party in the presidential election, which he did. And up till now, none of them have the balls to sanction him. And even those sets, the few ones, like 2 or 3 of them that decided to stand, an imposter in person, an usurper in person of Damaturu went and said they are suspending them, which was the like of Debo Logo, the National League advisor. You see how they are victimizing those ones. They are victimized even speaking. And you have a Santadi that calls himself the secretary of the party that's constantly carrying the bag of Wike from Wike, while Wike is going to Rivers every weekend. He carries the bag, you can see the pictures are all everywhere. This is a man you're meant to sanction. I know they have friendship. Understand I would have the understanding of having friendship and leaving politics aside and keeping your friendship. Politics is meant to be a thing of ideology, I understand. But when you become a leader of a party, you need to know that a party you claim to lead, you should see it as your baby, as your project and treaty. You see how some daddy will carry the bag with the luggage of Wike for him, holding Wike's suitcase, go to Rivers, and Wike will go to a function and insult a sitting PDP governor, and the Sandadi couldn't do anything. And you have the Damaturu that claim to understand the constitution of his party, APC, and he knows that he's only there as an acting chairman, but had refused to leave. So it tells you how unserious these guys are. And I know that that's the Wike was called the NWC of PDP at the time, tax collectors. And obviously these guys are even us, these guys are beggars. I'm not minding what. It is painful that a party that produced 3 presidents in Nigeria, President Olusegun Obasanjo did 8 years, late President Yar'Adua did 2 years, and President Jonathan.
Larry, sorry to cut you off there, Larry. Well, you did say that, the NWC, that's the PDP NWC, are not a serious people or a serious group. But is there any way for the PDP to actually effectively address, this internal conflicts with the talk of divisiveness, anti-party activities and all that, not just, nationally, but even in their states? Is there any way for them to strengthen, or effectively address internal conflicts to strengthen the position ahead of the 2027 elections?
Yeah. See how I'm saying? Even the subnational at the zonal, at the regional, whereby calling at the states, is because those guys at the national misbehaving. You saw what they did in the Congress. Look, Damaturu and his cohorts and his like I like calling them Damaturu and his band of unserious set of people. You can see them trying to cause division even in their party because they are doing that intentionally. Look, we all know the game, because this is the first time, to be sincere, since Nigeria has been doing politics, or since we've gone to democratic, since even the First Republic. This is the first time we're having a president that is political strategies that is politically grounded. We've always had accidental president, but I've been like, so we have a man that understands politics as it is. And Wike is doing his bidding. You can see they're trying to, in a way, collapse Nigeria into a one-party system, and that is what the like of Wike is doing, and his merchant that he has in Wadata House. And now, if for PDP to control, if PDP wants to be united, it means that the founding fathers of PDP, those are alive, and the ones that actually own PDP need to start speaking out. They've been docile for too long, they've been quiet for too long, and that is what they are known for. They've been quiet and work because they have wicked strategies, they do their things, but they need to actually cut the bluff of this young man from Wike, because as far as I'm concerned, where was Wike without PDP? Who is Wike without PDP? Where was Wike without PDP? Yes, he had played his game, he had done his own part. But I think he needs to understand that there were people before him, not people after him.
All right, Larry, now time isn't on our side, but thank you so much for speaking to us and for your time.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Now we stay with politics, where stakeholders from the Justice Forum in Alimosho Federal Constituency of Lagos State gathered to demonstrate their political strength and readiness for the upcoming local government and 2027 general elections. Under the leadership of former Deputy Governor Adejoke Orelope Adefulire, the event highlighted the party's grassroots mobilization efforts and commitment to unity. Now speaking during the event, Chief Organizer and State Officer for Justice Forum, Honorable Akim Bashiru, and other leaders say the gathering was to showcase the strength as a leading APC group in Alimosho.
This event for us is a constituency meeting to showcase our strength as a leading APC group in Alimosho. It is also an opportunity for us to mobilize people and assure our Progressive Congress and by extension Mr. President that Alimosho is ready to take the leadership in terms of galvanizing votes for subsequent electoral victories as far as Alimosho is concerned.
When we are talking about caucus, caucus is a means to drive more members into the party. The party is supreme, but as we are celebrating our day today and having our meeting, we are pulling more members, new members into the party.
Because we are a popular party, well run and well provided for by our leader in Alimosho, the leader of the Federal Constituency, Princess Adejoke Orelope Adefulure. She's a million in a woman, and amazing. And her leadership has gotten the Alimosho to where it is today.
We'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll speak on the war on kidnapping. Stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. Now to security matters. The Anambra State government has demolished a hideout used by kidnappers in its ongoing efforts to combat criminal activities in the state. The building, disguised as a hotel, was located along Onitsha-Owerri Road in Oba, Idemili South local government area. Identified as Udoka Golden Point Hotel, also known as La Cruz Hotel, the establishment was reportedly used for kidnappings and other illicit activities. In a statement released Saturday, the Anambra State New Media revealed that the hotel contained over 30 partitioned graves. The demolition marks a significant step in the state's fight against crime and efforts to restore safety to the region. Yobe State Governor Maimala Buni assures the military and other security agencies of his administration's support in combating insurgency. The governor made the pledge in Damaturu on Sunday during a courtesy visit by the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Olatubosun Oluyede, to the government house. In a statement by his media aide, Mamman Mohammed, Buni commends the military's efforts in securing the state, noting that all 17 local government areas are now accessible. Lieutenant General Oluyede reaffirms the Army's commitment to ending insurgency, calling for political and public support. He praises the Yobe government for its cooperation and vows to leverage his experience to achieve lasting peace in the region. In a celebration of culture, unity and tradition, the Chinese community in Lagos came together with Nigerians to mark the Chinese New Year, also known as the Spring Festival. Now, the event not only highlighted the shared cultural heritage of both nations, but also reinforced the deep ties between Nigeria and China. Let's take a look.
The celebration of the 75th anniversary of the founding of the People's Republic of China offered a colorful mix of cultural dances and music, blending the rich heritages of Nigeria and China. The Consulate General of the People's Republic of China in Lagos spoke about how memorable the celebration was and its impact on Nigeria-China relations.
We think that China and Nigeria were family, and especially with so many Chinese community, they not only support the local business or social development, but also do the charity events.
Government officials and guests also reflected on how African leaders can leverage opportunities presented by the Chinese government to foster industrial growth and economic development across the continent.
I'll call the attention of the African presidents or African leaders to look at the deliberation, to look at the implementation of the FOCAP, to look inward how to take advantage of the pledge made by President Xi Jinping to the African countries of about $51 billion, to look inward how to take advantage of that to unbundle the underdevelopment happening in Africa.
We also give them 100,000 for the support. All these things we are most appreciate for Nigeria friends. Thank you so much, and God bless Nigeria, God bless China.
The Chinese New Year celebration underscored the importance of cultural exchange and partnership in strengthening bilateral ties.
The United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, is raising the alarm over a surge in cases of severe acute malnutrition in Nigeria's northeast and northwest regions, a crisis it says affects over 5 million children. Now, UNICEF's representative in Nigeria, Christian Muduate, disclosed this during a visit to Zamfara State in northwest Nigeria. News Central's Sagir Ibrahim reports from Zamfara, where he monitored the activities of the UNICEF delegation.
Christian Munduate and her team began their visit at Gidandawa Bungudu Model Primary School, where she interacted with children and stakeholders. The team then proceeded to the Dr. Karima Primary Healthcare Center, where UNICEF is running an outpatient therapeutic program center.
Based on the severity of the case, they are managed based on that as outpatient. Those who have severe cases are referred to the stabilization center.
Another stop was the stabilization center at Yarima Bakura General Hospital. These field visits to project sites in Zamfara highlighted the severity of the situation.
If she doesn't want to see her future baby sick as well,
the revelations are alarming. In Zamfara State alone, 250,000 children, or 1 in 10, are suffering from severe acute malnutrition, with approximately 8 million babies born annually in Nigeria. Munduate warned that these figures could rise further.
We saw evidence and documentation that unfortunately some of them had died, couldn't make it. We want to highlight the urgent need to put a priority on children.
UNICEF's findings indicate that 50% of Nigeria's population, around 110 million people, are children. Of these, 40% under age 5 are stunted, while 1 in 4 children is out of school. However, Monduate noted some positive developments.
The number of children under 5 years for every 1,000 live births, it has declined. Another news is that Zamfara is keeping the status of 0 polio cases. I am a true believer that if you have the political will and determination, then things can change.
Parents, teachers, and healthcare workers underscore the urgent need for increased investment in child welfare.
Honestly, I don't feel happy because when you have a child that is fine and is healthy, you'll be happy. But when the child is always sick and you always have to be in the hospital, it's very, very sad, and I hope the situation improves.
We need library, we need additional structures, we need gadgets for teachers, and more methodologies.
Flux of malnutrition now is high due to the economy. As a farmer, during the planting season, they take all of their plants or their seeds to the farm to plant. So mostly they don't have food at all. They now, as a farmer that used to have food, they now go to market and buy. So then they have to be prioritizing what to buy and what to not to buy.
UNICEF estimates that addressing the needs of Nigeria's most vulnerable states, including Sokoto, Zamfara, and Katsina, will require over $250 million. More than $100 million is needed for these 3 states alone to fund essential programs for children in the region. In Gusau, the Zamfara state capital, Sadio Ibrahim for News Central.
Health. A consultant neurologist, Dr. Temitokpe Farumbi, warns that by 2030, Nigerians may face triple the current burden of brain disorders. Speaking in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, Dr. Farumbi highlights rising cases of epilepsy, stroke, depression, and other neurological conditions fueled by hypertension and diabetes. Dr. Farumbi, who trained abroad, urges government policies to retain top talent in Nigeria. She stressed the need for a transformative step for Nigeria's healthcare system, addressing gaps in brain health care and supporting long-term recovery for patients. Joining us from Ibadan in Oyo State is Dr. Temitokpe Farumbi. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Farumbi.
Thank you for having me.
Now, given the alarming projection of a 3-fold increase in neurological disorders by 2030, what are the potential health and socioeconomic impacts on Nigeria?
Thank you very much. Nigeria is largely a young population, where we have more than 45% of our population less than 15 years. So what that means is that as people continue to have neurological condition in their early active years, that will have a serious impact on our economic activities. Because when a young person develops stroke as a result of uncontrolled risk factors, and they are essentially taken out of workforce and they are unable to continue to work. And that have a grievous impact even on our economy. Right now, we are looking at over $300 million being lost every year for according to, as a result of neurological condition. So the impact is grave, and if the government is not proactive enough to do the right thing by educating the populace and ensuring there are enough infrastructure or support system in the healthcare system to ensure that neurological condition is prevented, this will have a high economic impact on the government, and also the productivity of the nation also is at stake.
All right, Dr. Farambi, can you tell us what exactly are the causes of some of these, neurological disorders? Because there seems to be a whole encyclopedia of different types of neurological disorders from A to Z.
Yes, thank you very much. Right now, the driver of this burden or this increase, number one is stroke in Nigeria. And now we are having almost epidemic of stroke cases, even among young adults as low as 18, 25 years. And what is driving these are the major risk factors. One, the non-modifiable and the modifiable risk factors. The modifiable ones are the hypertension, diabetes, stress, even poverty, lack of sleep, and lifestyle that are very like excess use of alcohol injection, as well as smoking. So that's stroke, diabetes, one of the hypertension, diabetes are the things driving stroke in our society. And we have 1 in 4 persons in Nigeria having hypertension and 1 in 6 persons having diabetes. Also, beyond that, we are also experiencing neonatal brain injury, that is at birth. That's another thing that is driving neurological disorders in Nigeria. A lot of birth injury occurring as a result of poor attendance to pregnant women, even during birth. They having brain injury while at birth also is a major concern. I listened to a part of your news that you talk about 5 million children having malnutrition. So the impact of malnutrition on the brain or growing brain of a child also is very, very critical. So, and that's could have a deleterious effect. Also, we are having increase in epilepsy, and as a result of environmental problem, exposure to toxins, to pollutions, these are the things that are driving the neurological burden in Nigeria at the moment.
All right. Now, but would you say that the Nigerian healthcare system is adequately equipped to, handle this anticipated increase in, these neurological disorders?
Unfortunately, in Nigeria, we have less than 100 neurologists catering for over 230 million people. So that's a very huge gap even. So there's a huge skill gap here, and the resources to provide neurological care is abysmally low. So we are not ready. However, I could see that the Ministry of Health is trying to set up health fellows, health research fellows to join, or health ambassadors to join the health workforce. Hopefully, they will be able to at least manage the gap to create awareness and educate the populace. But when it comes to critical care, intervention, and also management and rehabilitation, the workforce is largely, it's not there to cater for this huge burden that is upon us. So I would say Nigeria is not there yet. Even in some cities or some villages, there are no neurologists, and people don't, and also the stigma around neurological condition also is still there. Person with epilepsy is seen as a result of evil, or that epilepsy is transmissible via the saliva, which is absolutely false. But then the belief system of Nigerians is actually preventing them from accessing even the limited healthcare services that we have. Somebody with stroke is believed to be struck by a thunderbolt or by something else that is aside health condition. So health-seeking behavior also is very poor. So these are the things. So one, Nigerians need to be educated. Government needs to do more to put out the information out there. There's fire on the mountain, and we need to also find a way to retain our headaches, neurologists, psychiatrists, those who are working in the mental health field and also the neurological field needs to be retained, because right now they are actually emigrating in their droves. And
but what do you think? What do you think? That the government can actually do. What can the government do to retain these very, very intelligent doctors, and stop them from moving? Because I think the government has actually tried their best, but it doesn't seem like Nigeria is favorable enough for them to want to stay.
Yes, the current economic crisis is a major driver for immigration, and also infrastructural deficits. There are hospitals without even light, electricity. So how do you work, even having had all the knowledge and you cannot even implement it? So they need to do an emergency infrastructural drive even in our healthcare system. And also the welfare of medical professionals, health professionals generally, should be prioritized. Right now, the inflation has eroded into what is even left of medical professionals to be able to afford the basic for their families. And not having the appropriate welfare packages as well as poor infrastructures within their work environment, also these are drivers for immigration. Okay. So what the government can do is to ensure that there's an emergency response to revamping our healthcare system, ensuring that we have infrastructures in place to support the workforce, and also then to be able to improve the welfare of healthcare professionals in Nigeria.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Farambi, for enlightening us on that.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. Moving away from that, a condolence register has been opened at the Jos residence of late Lieutenant General Jeremiah Useni, who died on Thursday, 23rd of January 2025 in France at the age of 81. News Central's Chizoba Anyonwe visited the late former minister of the Federal Capital Territory's home in Jos, Plateau State. Her report.
It was a feeling of pain, agony, and despair at the home of late Lieutenant General Jeremiah Useni, who passed on Thursday, 23rd January 2025 in France after an undisclosed illness, 23 years after the passing of his wife in a plane crash. At the time of filing this report, none of his children had arrived at his residence in Jos, Plateau State, north-central Nigeria. However, the late minister's associates, friends, and relatives were seen wearing gloomy looks.
Ni ban san abin da zan faɗa muku fiye da haka ba fa. Ban sani ba. Ban san abin da zan faɗa muku fiye da haka ba. Baba ya bani ba komi, baba bai man magana ba, damuwa na kenan. Yaya zan yi a bayan shi? Ban sani ba. Bani da wani magana zai fi haka, sai dai ni na waro ko Ubangiji ya ji kansa, Ubangiji ya bashi gurin zama na wake.
Baba has been there for us. Baba is the one that pay all our school fees, take good care of us. We didn't lack anything. He has been there for us. Baba is a good man.
Governor Caleb Mutfwang had announced the death in a press statement signed by his director of press, Gyang Berry, expressing deep shock at the news of his passing and the loss for the people of Plateau State.
It's a big loss for Plateau. It's a big loss for northern Nigeria. It's a big loss for Nigeria and beyond. We're going to be mourning this elder statesman for a long time because he has contributed his quota in the growth and development of Nigeria.
For the Plateau people, the general has contributed a lot. Politically too, and economically. You know, when you know all the things he has done, both here in Jos and in his hometown, Lantang, he will be very well remembered.
according to family members, this is the chair where Baba used to sit on anytime he is in his Jos residence. Unfortunately, today, the late general is no longer here to take his position on this chair. In Jos, Plateau State, for News Central, I am Chizoba Anyowe.
Our condolences go out to the Husseini family. Coming up after the break, fighting near DR Congo's Goma region intensifies amid diplomatic fallout. This and more coming shortly after the break. Stay with us. Away from Nigeria, heavy clashes between Congolese forces and Rwandan-backed M23 fighters in eastern DRC edged closer to Goma on Sunday as the UN Security Council scheduled an emergency meeting. Amid escalating violence, both the DRC and Rwanda withdraw their diplomats following straining relations. Fighting in the resource-rich northern South Kivu provinces has displaced thousands, with M23 rebels advancing since peace talks collapsed in December. Witnesses in Goma, a city of over 1 million, reported heavy explosions and Congolese combat helicopters overhead. Businesses remain closed as displaced residents pour into the city, intensifying the humanitarian crisis.
Mazingira kabisa iko mzuri, depuis usiku yote masasi na mabombe zililala zinapiga, bwana tunateseka sana. Bwana leo usubuhi angalia gisi watu wote biko wanakimbia, uone gisi tunateseka baba, watu biko wanakimbia. Kwanza sie wengine tushakosa ka tutakimbilia pishu, tulianza kimbia depuis zamani. Sie wengine tuko watu wa makiwanja, wa maruchuru, wa kibumba, tulishaka kimbia. Kisha tena kwa leo tena na leo tena vita tena natukuta na huku tuko majama. Sasa tunakosa kama tukimbilie. Baba mie hata biharibike siwezi kimbia tena, yenye nilishaka kimbia mie inatosha. Junda kimbilia wapi? Hakuna tena kwa tutakimbilia. Tulitokaka kule kuma village yetu tunakimbilia huku Mgoma, na huku Mgoma nako watu wanaanza kimbia. Sasa tena tutakimbilia wapi? Njia zote zinafungiwa. Kwa tulikuwa tunazania tunaanza kimbilia, tunaanza vuka hata maina kule kumai nako njoo sasa nako jaribu.
Now on World Wrap, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu praises U.S. President Donald Trump on Sunday for authorizing the transfer of 2,000-pound bombs to Israel, calling it a vital step in enhancing the country's defense capabilities. In a video statement, Netanyahu thanked Trump for providing Israel with the tools it needs to defend itself and secure peace. This follows a report that Trump released the shipment of bombs after President Biden's administration had halted their delivery last year, citing concerns over the potential humanitarian impact in Gaza. Trump's approval of the shipment comes as Israel and Hamas continue a fragile truce following the October 2023 attack and recent hostage exchanges.
Thank you, President Trump, for keeping your promise to give Israel the tools it needs to defend itself, to confront our common enemies, and to secure a future of peace and prosperity.
Now let's join the business team for today's update.
In business, Nigeria's trade volume with China surpassed $20 billion in 2024. This is according to Chinese Ambassador Yu Dunhai. Speaking at a Lunar New Year celebration in Abuja, Yu highlighted Nigeria's role as a key African player and BRICS partner. He reiterated China's commitment to strengthening trade ties and implementing agreements from the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation for mutual benefit. The growing economic relationship reflects China's deepening investment in Nigeria, particularly in infrastructure and manufacturing. Analysts say increased bilateral trade could enhance economic diversification, though concerns remain about Nigeria's trade deficit and dependence on Chinese imports. And still in Nigeria, the cost of liquefied petroleum gas in Nigeria soared by 44.62% between December 2023 and December 2024. This is according to the National Bureau of Statistics. The average price of refilling a 5 kilogram cylinder jumped from 4,962 naira 87 kobo to 7,177 naira 27 kobo within a year. Month-on-month prices rose by 1.26% from November 2024. The surge is attributed to supply chain disruptions, foreign exchange volatility, and rising global energy costs. With cooking gas now unaffordable for many households, experts warn of increased reliance on firewood and charcoal, exacerbating deforestation and environmental concerns. Elsewhere, President Donald Trump confirmed ongoing talks with multiple parties about acquiring TikTok, with a decision expected within 30 days. Speaking aboard Air Force One, Trump acknowledged significant interest in the Chinese-owned social media app. Reports suggest the White House is crafting a deal involving Oracle and outside investors to take control of TikTok's operations, with ByteDance retaining a stake. Oracle is already the app's cloud provider and would oversee data management. While Trump has not spoken directly with Oracle co-founder Larry Ellison, the move signals continued U.S. scrutiny over Chinese tech firms amid national security concerns. And that's our offering on business news at this time. Thank you for watching. I am Perpetua Fasami Peter. The news continues shortly.
Now in sports, Nigeria's Eniola Bolaji made history, securing a gold medal at the 2025 Egypt Para Badminton International. She triumphed over Sweden's Hillevi Salomonsen in straight sets to take the title in the women's SL3 category. Favor Itua has more details.
And in sports, Paralympic bronze medalist Eniola Bolaji has added another golden chapter to her career, clinching the women's SL3 title at the Egypt Para Badminton International 2025 in a dominant display. Bolaji defeated Sweden's Hillevi Salomonsen 2-0 in Sunday's final, showcasing her remarkable skill and dominance. Throughout the tournament, Bolaji outclassed her opponents, including Shahinda Mohammed, Basama Nabil Fauzi, and Elizabeth Puma, with straight set victories. She has now won 10 consecutive international championships in 2 years, cementing her status as a global para-badminton star. Francis Obi, president of the Nigerian Badminton Federation, praised Bolaji's achievement as a source of national pride and inspiration. He highlighted Nigeria's plans to host world-class para-badminton events in 2025, reinforcing the nation's commitment to the sport. And now to tennis, Team Nigeria is set to depart Lagos on Tuesday, January 28, 2025, for the Davis Cup World Cup Group 2 playoffs against South Africa. The squad features US-based stars Christopher Bulus and David Ekpeyong alongside homegrown talents Canis Abua and Michael Emmanuel. While Bulus and Ekpeyong will join the team directly in Pretoria, the domestic players who have undergone months of intensive training in Abuja recently concluded a 6-day Lagos camp in preparation for the tournament. Nigeria advanced to the playoffs after securing one of 3 Africa Group 3 tickets last year in Abuja alongside Zimbabwe and Namibia. These achievements marked a rapid rise for the country, moving from Africa Group 4 to World Group 2 playoffs in just 2 years. The 5-match showdown takes place at the Gronklouf Tennis Stadium, Pretoria, from February 1st to 2nd. And out of football, Akwa United's road to redemption hit a stumbling block on MPFL Match Day 20 as Remo Stars rallied for a 2-1 win at the Gosul Akpabio International Stadium. The Promise Keepers took an early lead in the 6th minute when Uche Sebastian tapped in a rebound after Remo Stars goalkeeper Obasa parried Chidoke Alaikwe's effort. However, the Sky Blue Stars responded in style. Simon Anakwe's delicate chip in the 73rd minute leveled the score, while Olamileko Adebayo sealed the comeback with a clinical finish from a brilliant team move in the 84th minute. The victory propelled Remo Stars to the league summit with 39 points. Elsewhere, Plateau United dented Rivers United titles hope with a 2-1 victory, while Atlant edged Lobby Stars 2-1 in Owerri. And to wrap up sports update, Jannik Sinner claimed his 2nd consecutive Australian Open title with a dominant 6-3, 7-6, 7-4, 6-3 victory over Alexander Zverev. The Italian top seed, despite an ongoing doping case, demonstrated his mental toughness and physical prowess, securing his 3rd Grand Slam title. Sinner clinched the win with a composed cross-court winner on his first championship point before celebrating with his team. Zverev, the 2nd seed, struggled to break down Sinner's relentless baseline game, growing frustrated as the match progressed. The 27-year-old German now joins the list of players to lose their first 3 Grand Slam finals, having also faltered at the 2020 US Open and 2024 French Open. A visibly upset Zverev covered his face in defeat. And that wraps it up on Sports Update. I'm Favor Itwa.
That's all at this hour. But before we go, let's take another look at some of our top stories. We told you that President Bola Tinubu departs Abuja for Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, to participate in the Africa Heads of State Energy Summit 2025. We also told you that Nigerian army cracks down on oil thieves in Niger Delta. Finally, you heard that fighting near DR Congo's Goma region intensifies amid diplomatic fallout. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I'm Darshan Usman.